Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be going over 3 new champions being added to the daily login reward system. The current system ends at day 180 with Sill of Drakes. I do have a full video on my channel diving into her with a champion guide. I have her maxed out and all of that, but that is where it ended in terms of daily login rewards. They are announcing the login rewards are going to be going up to day 270 soon in the future here, and there's going to be 3 champions added at day 210, day 240, and day 270. So I'm going to give you the best breakdown I can in terms of these champions, and because of 2x sacreds and point shards for viewers and Plarium sending this to us at what was like 5 a.m. for me, this was the soonest I could get to this video for you guys. So let's go ahead and crunch these champions and let's get into it. Alrighty, so there's 3 of them to go over, and the first one I'm going to do is the day 210 champion, which is a Force Affinity Epic support from the Demon Spawn faction. And I've got the artwork and the skills right here, so we can kind of go over this together. Now, one thing worth noting is we are missing a lot of very important information in terms of reviewing these champions accurately, which is very unfortunate. We don't have the base stats. Base speed is a huge deal because we need to know if a champion is 110 base speed or 87. That's a big deal. We need to know what their base stats are. We get what they scale with because the thing does usually tell us the main stat on some of them. I'm looking through the sheet here. This one only says type support, so we don't know the stat the damage scales with, but probably not going to have good multipliers in terms of being a damage dealer. But we do need to know the base stats, what stat they scale with, and most importantly the cooldowns of the skills. We don't have access to that, and also almost just as important as the cooldowns, we don't know what the books add. So we don't know how the buff chances are changed. If we can get it to 100% with books, we don't know how many cooldowns we can get or what the cooldown is of the natural skill while it's not booked. So tough to do a video like this, but I'm going to do my best to kind of go over the kit in general and give you an idea of how impactful I think they will be. So I wanted to get that out of the way first and kind of let you know that you do have to take this with kind of a grain of salt in terms of grading them, because they can be much better or much worse depending on how all of that stuff shakes out. But in terms of this Demon Spawn, aesthetically looks cool. As you know by now, Raid always does a great job with the artwork and the aesthetic of the game, so not surprising that at least it's not a reskin. It is a new skin of a champion, and I believe all 3 of them are new skins, so that's very good. That's a plus. And obviously the aesthetics are always very good in terms of the champions. This one's no different. It looks like a Demon Spawn epic. Looks very cool. The A1 attack 2 times at random, heals all allies by 3% of this champion's HP. Now, again, we don't know if that's current HP, max HP. It's probably max HP, which is all right. Then with each hit on targets under decreased speed. Now, that makes it a lot worse. Skills that are based off of qualifiers of other things already being present on the battlefield make them much worse. But we'll get to that because the skill 2 here does place that, so at least it synergizes a little bit. We've got attack 1 enemy, a 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff on them for 2 turns. Has a 50% chance, we can probably book this to like 70 or 80, of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff on all enemies if critical. So that's cool. I like that ability. If we can get good gear, build them with high HP, high crit. We've got this A2 here that's probably on a default 4-turn cooldown that we can book to 3 in terms of placing AoE decreased speed. So that's pretty solid. Then we've got a passive, decrease the damage of all allies by 5%. This champion will receive that damage instead. If there are multiple champions on the team with the skill, it will only activate once. So basically the Bulwark passive, the tier 6 defense tree passive, just kind of getting a tier 6 mastery for free. So yeah, not bad. A pretty straightforward kit. I like the passive. It's got some pretty consistent value and utility, so I like the passive. But the A1 having a qualifier throws me off a little bit, but the A2, if it shakes out well in terms of the books making sense, can synergize with it pretty well. And AoE decreased speed is very good for faction crypts. This champion also has an aura of ally HP and faction crypts by 30%, which again is very good for faction crypts. So this champion will definitely be impactful for dungeon progression, Faction Wars progression. I don't see it being like a meta, you know, champion or anything. It's not going to be super good in the arena. It's not going to be super good in the clan boss or anything. Remember, we can't affect the speed or the turn meter of the clan boss. So, I mean, I'm going to give this champion like a B-. You know, really good for dungeon, like progression and faction wars, but that's unfortunately becoming the story for a lot of new champions. So I would like to see more arena and clan boss utility, which is why I like Syl. That AoE stun, the Syl of the Drakes, the day 180 login reward. She can be very good in the arena and very generally useful, not just in faction wars. So that's the route I like them to go in champions like this, but you know, a B-. It's an all right epic. It's just not going to be amazing, and it's not going to be garbage. And now let's transition to the number 2 champion that's going to be available at day 240, and that is a Spirit Affinity epic defense type champion from the Ogren tribes with an aura of allied defense and faction crypts by 30%. So let's dive into the kit here. Skill 1, we've got attack one enemy with a 50% chance of placing a leech on the target for 2 turns. Now, there's probably some books to take that up to a 90 or 100% chance, so not bad. Leech is actually pretty viable now in most situations. After its buff, it's kind of like a pseudo lifesteal, so I'll take that on an A1, not bad, and it's before attacking, so that's cool. Then the A2 is attack all enemies. This is probably... I wonder if they're going to put this on a 5-turn cooldown you can book to 4, or a 4-turn cooldown you can book to 3, because that's really going to determine how good he is. I need to know that information. But it's going to be an AoE, 60% chance, and you can probably book that up to 100, I'm guessing, to place a 50% decrease attack debuff, or a 30% decrease crit damage debuff for 2 turns. That's pretty good. That's a good A2 for sustain for like a support type champion. Then we've got another AoE that places continuous heal, the big version, on all allies for 2 turns, and an additional baby continuous heal for 1 turn if at least 1 enemy is hit with a critical hit. Okay, so gonna be, yeah, I think that's the only thing he needs crit for is that A3, and that's probably, so I would guess the A3 is a 5-turn cooldown you can book to 4, and the A2 is a 3-turn cooldown you can book to 2. Or I mean a 4-turn cooldown you can book to 3, and the A1 is the default. If that's the case, he's going to be pretty solid in terms of being a good sustain champion and lowering the output of your enemies. He'll be very, very good in faction wars, placing the leeches and decreasing their damage and healing your team. He's going to be insane for like faction wars and dungeon waves and all of that stuff. And in terms of placing decrease attack and placing leech and placing continuous heals, he'll honestly be pretty mid-game viable for the clan boss as well. Without seeing everything, I can't say if he's going to be viable towards the end game, but pretty cool to have an A1 leech to place that pretty much permanently on the clan boss and let your whole team heal. And also with the decreased attack and the continuous heals, yeah, I mean, a pretty well-rounded champion. I like this one better than the first one, so I'm gonna give this one yeah, I'll give this one a B+. I think he's close to being an A. It's hard without knowing the cooldowns and stuff, but from what I see, I like the design of this champion's kit, and I think there's some potential here for some general utility. I'll give him a B+. Alrighty, and now we are getting to the third one, and this is the legendary Void Affinity from the Dark Elves, based on defense, and going to be having an aura that's allied defense and faction crisp by 37%. For this being day 270, you're almost getting to a year. I would have liked the aura to be allied defense in all battles by 30% or something, instead of just faction crisps. For it being the end of the line and almost a year, I would have liked to see more utility in terms of all battles on the aura. But anyway, again, this champion will probably be really good in faction crypts. That seems to be the theme around these 3 champions, is once you get this far down the road, 210, 240, 270 days, start, you know, getting progression into the faction crypts and getting to those last stages seems to be kind of the theme and the thought process around designing these champs. But let's see here. So we've got A1 attacks 1 enemy 2 times. each hit with an 80% chance. I'm sure you can book that to 100 of decreasing target's turn meter by 10%. Fill the champion's turn meter equal to the amount of the target loses. That's a cool A1. I like that. One enemy 2 times, so you can decrease it by 20% if you have good accuracy in both land, and assuming you can book that to 100%. And then not only does it decrease theirs, but it revives hers, or not revives, but fills hers. Could be really good for the Fire Knight. We've got a Void champion based on defense that's going to be, you know, probably pretty tanky. And then on an A1, we've got a multi-hitter that steals turn meter. So could be very good for the Fire Knight. And then we've got an A2 that is AoE, 75% chance. I'm sure we can book that to 100 of placing decreased speed, AoE for 2 turns. Place a shield on this champion. I wish that was ally utility on this champion, equal to 20% of max HP. Now, usually when this happens, there's some sort of ally protection or provoke, and then because of that, I knew we would see that on the A3. You've got place a provoke debuff on the target for 1 turn, also a 50% ally protection buff on all allies for 2 turns. Yeah, so not going to be good for the clan boss, unfortunately, and I guess could be okay in certain defensive arena teams, but unfortunately, 90% of the time, arena teams are built around speed, so we haven't really got anything that would super affect and change that meta. But could be usable in defensive arena teams, and will obviously be very good in faction crypts, and could be very good in the Fire Knight, because decreased speed is also very good, and shield and ally protection not super impactful, especially if you're going the turn meter route in terms of bursting down the Fire Knight and never letting him get a turn to get his shield back and all that. But I'm probably getting a little bit too wordy here. Let me just get straight to the point and grade this. So Void based on defense. Aura is very good, but it's only for faction crypts. We've got turn meter manipulation on an A1 with a reliable chance. That's good. We've got AoE decreased speed, ally protection, single target provoke. Yeah, I'm gonna say a B. Good, just not like an A or anything. Not anything that's gonna be insane. But okay, I'll give it a B. I can't quite go B plus or A minus. I think at day 270. I'd like to see the aura be all battles, and I'd like to see a little bit more utility in terms of the clan boss or the arena, either one. This one doesn't seem to be really good in the arena or the clan boss. I would have liked it to be at least one of those. But yeah, I'll go a B. Other than that, it's pretty decently designed, and the aesthetic is definitely cool. It looks like a dark elf, so a very good job on the artwork there. But yeah, I'll put that away, and kind of I'll try to remember to link to those little infographics down in a pinned comment or the video description or something, so you can pull those up and kind of take a look at them. But wanted to get this out as soon as I could and kind of grade these new champions for daily login rewards, go over their kit and all that. So definitely let me know if you agree or disagree with me down in the comments. I always enjoy, even if I don't respond, I enjoy reading, you know, exactly how the community feels and kind of getting a good sentiment from you guys. So I hope the 2x sacreds are going well for you. I hope you guys are pulling some great epics and legendaries, and as always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.